Hey everyone, welcome to another video and thank you for tuning in. Oh, welcome to not so sunny Florida. Tropical storm Eta is definitely bringing the rain and the wind, but we'll make the best we can of it. But at any rate, for those of you who like all the information up front, this is what we got. I dropped the Model Y off at the dealership and it was pretty simple. It went well, and there was only one little hiccup, and that was in getting the loaner car, which is what I'm sitting in right now, the Model 3 that I got as a loaner. They couldn't find this car or just didn't know where it was, and so I had to wait longer than what I had originally thought I was going to before I finally got it. But I got it, and everything else went smooth. For those of you who are just tuning in, the reason that the car, my Model Y, went to the service center is because I originally had a dome light issue where the housing, it was actually falling out, and I also had the wiring cover, the protective like cover for the wiring harness had popped off on the door and it just wouldn't stay back on, so they were gonna do a mobile repair on that. But instead, the car had other ideas. It threw a hood latch sensor warning. And when I reported that, they said, oh, you know what? We can't do a mobile service on that. Bring the vehicle in. So that's what I did. And then I thought, well, since I'm bringing the vehicle in, why not let them know about the bumper? And that's the common issue with the Model Y, is that the paint on the bumper doesn't match the rest of the car. So I thought, why not give it a shot, let them know, see what happens, and we'll go from there. And that was actually the surprise of the service center visit, which was that I really expected them to tell me, you know what, we'll take a look at the bumper and then we'll let you know if there's anything we can do about it. And I was really expecting them to say, it's within spec, sorry, can't help you out. But instead, they said, oh, we already have you scheduled for it to go to the body shop and we'll let you know when it's done. So that was a pleasant surprise. I don't know if that's going to still be true in a couple of days. They may call me back and say, you know what, it's in spec, you got to come and get it, everything else is fixed. So, but anyway, that was a pleasant surprise to see that they, at least for now, are saying that they're going to address the issue. So now let's talk about this Model 3. This was a little bit of a surprise to me. Now, I know that there's tons of Model 3 reviews. That's not what I'm going to do in this video. I was just shocked at how different the Model 3 was compared to the Y. And I guess it's just in my head, and I don't know if this is a thing for a lot of people out there. You know, you hear that the Model 3 and the Model Y share 70% of their, components, and that maybe the Model Y is just a lifted version or a taller version of the Model 3. And that's what I think I had in my head. But when I jumped into the Model 3, I was just really surprised at how different it felt. And both good and bad ways. Not, you know what, let me take that back. Not bad, just different. So I just wanted to point that out. It's not a full review on the Model 3, but just like a few comparison things to the Model Y. So that's it. So let's get the video started. Well, it's early morning and I am not a morning person, but we are heading off to the service center. So today is Tesla service day and we're gonna go see what they say about all these fixes. All right, let's head off. right, guys, well, dropped the car off and they put me in a loaner Model 3 dual motor. So it's not the performance, but I was kind of wondering how this Model 3s are, so this is a good opportunity for me to spend a little time in one. All right, that wasn't too bad. Again, not too bad of a process. Got there, checked in, then they ended up letting me know that it was going to be a few minutes for my rental to be ready, or my loaner, I'm sorry, to be ready. And then I ended up waiting around a little while, and finally I just went back up and said, hey, you know, what's the status on the loaner? They were like, oh, sorry, here you go, here's the code, and it's parked in spot number 2. So at the end of the day, pretty smooth process. Well, at this point, according to them, they are going to take care of all the issues I reported, including the rear bumper. They said that the bumper is going to the body shop, and that will end up taking, in total, hopefully anywhere between 3 days to a full week. So, but that is the report as of now. Now, I'm also waiting in my head thinking that they're going to turn around and say, oh, you know what, the bumper color is within their specifications, and we'll fix everything else, but we're not going to touch the bumper. So I'll let you know if that's the case, if I get a call sometime later today or next week, if that's what's going to happen. But again, at this point, they say that they're going to repair bumper, hood latch, hazard housing, and that waterproofing. All of my issues that I had showed you guys in earlier videos, they said they're going to address them all. So that's pretty nice. Whew. Not sure what year this Model 3 is, but feels pretty good. It is significantly smaller. Holy cow. I'll do a little review on it compared to the Model Y. Wow. I just can't believe how much smaller Model 3 is as far as interior volume than the Y. It is definitely compact. And I'm a little guy, so I don't know. So this is a Model 3 long-range dual motor. It was has a build date of 11/18, so I don't know if that makes it a late 2018 or early 2019 model, but that's the build date. It says on the door sticker. It has 15,356 miles, and the only interesting thing added to this loaner is it has the acceleration boost package. I think that's the $2,000 option that makes the car faster. And I will tell you up front, spoiler alert, it's impressive. So I do have a 0 to 60, couple 0 to 60 clips of it later on in the video. So yeah, let's get to it. Again, this isn't really a comparison video of the Model 3 and the Model Y. Like I said, I just really wanted to point out some really big differences that I found between the two vehicles. And again, I think it's because I had this idea that they were so similar from looking at the numbers and you know, hearing all the shared components and all that other stuff, that I was really surprised. And so this is what I just wanted to pass along to you guys, especially someone thinking about a Model 3 versus a Y, and just looking online at pictures and looking at the figures. I think if you're trying to figure out between the two, you should really go and see them in person and look at them side by side, because it really is a big difference. And again, I was shocked at how different they were in person. The first thing I can tell you that really was noticeable was the size, both the exterior dimensions and the interior cabin space. I feel like I'm much closer to the dash, and the whole cabin itself is just a little bit smaller, you know, but it's noticeable. When I jumped into this, I thought right away it felt more like a compact car, or, you know, a little smaller than midsize. When I get into the Model Y, it feels substantially bigger, you know, and so right away it just feels like a smaller, more, I guess, kind of a sport-oriented car. So that was the first thing that I noticed, you know, and again, it's drastic in that you're just that feeling. So, like I had mentioned earlier, the performance of this thing. Now remember, this is not the performance model. It's a long-range dual motor with 15,000 plus miles on it with this acceleration boost package. I didn't expect much from it, but as you can see from the 0 to 60 clips, this thing is as fast as the performance Model Y. I mean, down to the 100th of a second. And the quarter mile is the same as well. So it is 3.7 seconds. So in that sense, it is a performance bargain. You know, if you don't go for the performance model, you're still very fast. You're, you know, only a little bit slower than the performance Model 3, but you are just as fast as the performance Model Y. And yeah, that's quick. So I didn't think it was going to be that quick, but it touted that. But there again, when I actually, you know, measure it out with the Draggy, it feels impressive. So yeah, that was really surprising to me. The other part is the handling. This thing goes around corners much more flat and stable than the performance Model Y. And again, I say this because this is just the long-range dual motor. I would kind of expect that from the performance Model 3, but not the dual motor long range. You know, this is the regular car, and you're supposed to be getting this for the extended range and, you know, yes, some of the performance, but really though, it handles the turns very well. So I think most people would be happy with the way that it goes around the turns, as well as when you're trying to hustle it at high speeds through some of the more switchbacks, you know, kind of left and right turns. It is still, I think, floatier at high speeds, and I mean really high speeds. So take that for what it's worth, but it really stays planted very well. And again, these are regular tires. These aren't performance tires on this car, and the size isn't, you know, staggered where the backs are wider than the front like the performance models are. But as a regular setup, this thing does very well. So again, surprise to me. Now, the Model Y, on the other hand, it's performance oriented, but it feels much more massive coming into the turns and, you know, just putting the power down around the corner, like when you're at the apex. It just is a lot heavier and you need to pay more attention. This is much more playful. You know, take my word for it. The regular long-range dual motor with the acceleration boost is much more playful. You can break the back end loose and it feels more like a regular, like, gas engine car. You know, you can kick the tail out a little bit, which I really haven't been able to do in the Model Y. So there's the good and bad of that. But again, it's a bargain for the cost. Again, the last portion that I felt was really noticeable between the two vehicles was, I guess the best way to put it is ease of use. Some of the features like the, well, this not having wireless charging, I guess I got used to that really fast in the Model Y, because it seemed like a pain to having to keep plugging in here and keep it plugged in, and you know, unlatching it, and then it would fall through the bottom here. So it just seemed like it was a lot easier to have the wireless charging. And the power liftgate was another one. The power option, I'm glad that I think that's going to be a regular feature on the refreshed Model 3. Because you got, again, used to that real quick, having the option of just opening it from here and it being open, throwing everything in there. Where here, if you open up the trunk, yeah, if your hands are full, you're going to have to put all your stuff down or finagle it with one arm and lift up the trunk, and same thing with closing it. So that was, again, those are some of the small little things that I noticed just makes this a little more harder to live with. Also, getting in and out of the vehicle. Now, I'm a little guy, so it doesn't really affect me, but I had some people that were much taller getting in and out of this thing, and they had to worry about hitting their head on the roof, and it seemed like it just took a lot more effort. This car is substantially lower. I didn't really think visually that the Y was that much higher, but it is. Even with the lowered suspension on the Performance Model Y, this car in its regular standard height is significantly lower, and it takes a lot more effort to get in and out of. Again, if you're a tall person, that might affect you. Having that rear cargo area in the Model Y is so convenient to just throw large items in the back without having to worry about you know, having that deck under the trunk, in the trunk there. So definitely, if you're carrying a lot of large items, cargo, it really is just something that you should be aware of, that you do have room in the trunk in the Model 3, but it is really hindered by that top deck and the rise of the bottom of the bumper. So, but in the Y, it's just so flat, open, drop the seats, and you know, throw a mountain bike or whatever that you want in there, and it takes no time at all. Where here, you could do it by dropping the seats, but you really have to be careful and kind of finagle it in there and get it set up just right. So again, these are just things that I just noticed that are, you know, really different between the two. When you see a lot of videos and they make it look so comparable that you could do pretty much everything almost as easily in both cars. But I'm not finding that particularly true in my experience with the Model 3. And again, that's just me. That's what I've noticed, that, you know, having driven this now for almost a day and a half, that yeah, it's a fun car to drive, but definitely not as user-friendly or family-friendly, I should say, as the Model Y. So if you were going for performance, though, this is definitely the way to go. That you can't beat the price for this and what you get for it, I think. Overall, like I said, it seems like it's easier with those conveniences and the ease of entry exit for the Model Y to live with, but it's not terrible in here. But it is noticeable, and that again is something that I really didn't think that I would notice this quickly, but I have, you know. And so again, I just wanted to share it with you, because if you are thinking about getting especially a used Model 3, those are some features that you may want to change or look for that has been retrofitted into the one that you're going to buy, because those things make a difference. All right, well, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and again, remember, go to your car meets, enjoy what you have, and have fun with your mods, guys. Thanks again. Take care.